There are two ways to charge your EV at home, known as level 1 and level 2 charging, with the latter being faster but having more upfront costs. But could the upgrade to level 2 pay for itself? First though, what is level 1 charging? Level 1 simply means plugging your car into a standard 110-volt wall outlet. It's important to know that the cable you see pictured here, and something similar is included with almost all electric vehicles, is not a charger. The charger is built into the car. These units are nothing more than a fancy power cord which have some extra safety features to protect you, your car and your household electrical supply. The correct name for them is an EVSE. Most electric cars on the market today will come with one of these as standard. Assuming you have a regular power outlet in your garage, there is no need to spend any money. The downside though is that charging your car from a standard wall outlet is slow. Extremely slow in fact. An hour of charging will typically add only 4 miles or so of range. The charger in your car also prefers a 240 volt supply, so when running on 110 volts it's actually less efficient, and that means it wastes a lot of electricity. The next option is level 2 charging. This uses a dedicated 240 volt supply like your central air conditioner. Depending on the power rating of the charger in your car, these can use anything from 16 to typically 48 amps of power. Some units are fixed to the wall, like the one in the photo, but they can also come in a portable form like in the previous slide, and some of those units are able to offer both level 1 charging on a standard outlet, or level 2 charging if you plug them into a NEMA 1450 outlet. Like you find at an RV park, you simply swap the included adapter cables. Charging your car on level 2 is much faster than level 1, and typically adds between 20 and 40 miles of range per hour, depending on the charges in the car and the available supply. Some cars include a level 2 capable EVSE as standard, for example Tesla, but others penny pinch and only include a level 1 unit, for example our 2022 Mini, although I hear the 2023 models will include a level 2 unit. As mentioned on the previous slide, the charger in the car is more efficient when running on level 2, so less electricity is wasted. And that often raises the question, can that improvement in efficiency pay for the cost of moving up to a level 2 charging? Because yes, there is a cost. Even if your car came with a level 2 capable EVSE, you likely won't be able to make use of it until you have an RV park style NEMA 1450 socket fitted in your garage, with heavy duty cabling running back to your electrical panel and a suitable beefy breaker. If your car didn't come with a level 2 EVSE, then you'll need to buy one of those too. And this assumes you have the room and capacity in your electrical panel, and even on your house electrical supply, to feed one of these units. If not, there are some considerable expenses waiting for you there. So while the main reason to move to level 2 charging is to get faster charging speeds regardless of expense, some people do wonder if the improvement in charging efficiency will actually pay for it. So let's find out. For this test I'm going to use our 2022 Mini Cooper SE. I ran the battery down to 34% charge and then grabbed the included level 1 unit from the trunk, which is where we normally keep it for emergency use away from home. These units are always very basic, so to keep track of energy consumption I plugged one of these power meters into the wall outlet and then plugged the EVSE into that. After nearly 10 hours, the car showed the battery had reached 81%, so I unplugged it and checked the power meter, which showed we had consumed 16.65 kilowatt hours. I made a quick table to keep track of these numbers. The level 1 charging used 16.6 kilowatt hours to go from 34 to 81%. So from that we can calculate it would take 35.3 kilowatt hours to do a full charge from 0 to 100%. So now let's measure the level 2 charging. This is the way we normally charge our Mini, and our unit is a smart EVSE, which means it has Wi-Fi and several other features which include a power meter, and I can monitor this from the comfort of the living room using a little app I wrote and run on a Raspberry Pi touchscreen computer. Now this time when I plugged the car in it only had 20% charge, so I needed to charge it up to 34% before starting the test. It took 4.4 kilowatt hours of energy to bring it up to 34%, so we need to subtract 4.4 from the final figure for energy delivered. A couple of hours later and we can see that we used 18.9 kilowatt hours, which, after we subtract the 4.4 the meter was shown before we started, means we used 14.5 kilowatt hours. To work out what all this means in financial terms, we need to do more math. We know that each full charge saves 4.4 kilowatt hours. The EPA says the car goes 114 miles on a full charge. So on just under 9 full charges, we're looking at saving 38.6 kilowatt hours doing it on level 2 versus level 1. At 15 cents per kilowatt hour of electricity, which is the national average and what we used to pay including all fees back when we were on a flat rate plan, we'd save $5.80 for every 1,000 miles driven. Now, prices for electrical work vary, but we paid $400 to have a NEMA 1450 socket installed in our garage, and to recoup that money through better charging efficiency would take us nearly 70,000 miles of driving. But actually, our car didn't come with a level 2 EVSE, so I bought the fancy smart one for $600. So we actually spent $1,000 all in, which would take over 170,000 miles to recoup. So what's the conclusion then? While a 14% saving in electricity is fairly significant, charging an electric car at home is just so cheap that in dollar terms the saving is very small. Depending on whether you need to buy a level 2 EVSE and depending how much your electrical work would cost to have it installed, it will likely take at least 50,000 miles of driving to recover the investment, or substantially more if you have to upgrade your house supply. Some utility companies or even states offer incentives that will contribute to the cost, so that may change the equation for some of you. But ultimately, the takeaway should be that you move to level 2 charging for the ability to add range to your car much quicker, and as always, you have to pay to save time.